Nnamdi and Chike had been close friends since childhood, growing up in the same village. Their family's plots of land were close to each other, and every evening, after a long hard day's work under the scorching sun, the young men would walk home together, talking about their crops and their lives. On one such evening, as the orange glow of the setting sun was in the sky, Nnamdi admired the tall yam plants in Chike's farmland. "Chike, your yams are looking so healthy this year. The leaves are so large and green," he said. Chike smiled with pride. "Thank you, my friend. I've been working hard to keep the weeds in control and to keep the soil fertile. It has really paid off." He pointed to Nnamdi's own growing crops. "And your farm looks wonderful as well. You are a good farmer." The two friends shared a warm laugh as they, as well as other farmers, returned home with their day's labor complete. "Speaking of relaxing," Chike said, "why don't we stop by Mama Obi's place for a piece of bushmeat and some palm wine? We've earned a break after all that hard work." Nnamdi said, "Thank you, but I don't think I would go. I think I'd rather just go straight home to eat my wife's food. She doesn't like it when I'm late for dinner." Chike smiled. "Ah, yes, your dear sweet wife. You are a lucky man," he said, but there was a hint of jealousy in his voice. The next day, as they walked side by side, Chike once again invited Nnamdi to join him for a drink, but Nnamdi politely refused, explaining that he wanted to get home to his pregnant wife. One day, however, Nnamdi felt bad because Chike had asked him so many times to go with him to the palm wine spot and he always said no. So this time, he decided to follow his friend to Mama Obi's bar, thinking that he could just have 1 or 2 cups of palm wine before going home. But as they sat down, drinking the sweet palm wine, Chike's mood changed and he started to speak. "You know, Nnamdi," he said, "I don't understand why you're always in such a rush to get home to your wife. Are you not the man of the house?" Nnamdi was surprised by Chike's words. "What do you mean? Of course I am. But my wife is pregnant and I don't want her to stress herself. I enjoy helping her with the chores when I can, like for example, helping her pound yam." Chike let out a loud laugh. "Helping with chores? Pounding yam? That's a man's job, my friend. You shouldn't be letting her control you like that." Nnamdi was confused and he said, "Control me? Chike, my wife is not controlling me. I care about her well-being and I want to support her during this time when she's pregnant." But Chike continued to shake his head. His face was filled with that of pity. Nnamdi, you are too soft. A real man doesn't allow his wife walk all over him. You need to show her who is the boss and put her in her place. Don't be afraid to shout at her or even give her a good slap if she ever gets out of line and does something that annoys you." Nnamdi sat in silence. His heart was not at peace. As he walked home that evening, he met his wife outside, smiling. But her warm smile quickly faded when she saw the troubled look on his face. "Nnamdi, what's wrong?" she asked, and her voice was filled with concern. Nnamdi hesitated, not knowing whether to tell her about what Chike said, but he convinced himself that Chike was right. He needed to show his authority in his house. So, when his wife asked him to come and help her pound the yam for their dinner, he refused. His wife's eyes widened in shock, but she went back to the kitchen, her shoulders sagging with disappointment. Nnamdi tried to ignore the guilt that he felt in his conscience, but he told himself that he was just being a stronger and more respected husband. Over the next few weeks, Nnamdi's behavior towards his pregnant wife only grew worse due to Chike's constant advice. One evening, when he returned home to find out that his meal was not yet ready, his temper rose. "What is the meaning of this?" he shouted, his voice shaking through their small house. "How can you be so lazy? Why is it so difficult to cook food in time?" he said. "Our daughter is sick," his wife said. and I have to tend to her first before I can start cooking your dinner," his wife explained, her own voice trembling with fear. Nnamdi was so filled with anger, and before he could even think, he pushed his wife with all his energy. She screamed as she fell backward, her stomach hitting against the hard earthen floor. Nnamdi's heart stopped as he watched her curl up in pain and blood seeping through her dress. In panic, Nnamdi ran out to get help, and the village elders and midwife arrived quickly, but the damage had already been done. Nnamdi's in-laws were angry, and they took their daughter back to their own house, refusing to let Nnamdi near her. After some time, Nnamdi went to look for Chike to share with him what had happened to his family. But what he saw when he arrived at Chike's house shocked him to the core. There was Chike, grinding pepper and cooking a pot of egusi soup, while his own wife sat down on a chair majestically and shouted orders at him to hurry up and bathe the children. Nnamdi couldn't believe his eyes. This was the same Chike who had been so certain about a man's role in the household, yet here he was obediently serving his wife. In that moment, Nnamdi realized the foolishness of his actions, the way he had allowed Chike's bad advice to destroy his happy marriage. As he turned and walked away, he went straight to his in-laws' house. Nnamdi apologized and told them that it was all his fault and asked them to forgive him. He also apologized to his wife and told her that he would never raise his voice or hit her again. He also promised them that he would try his best to be a good husband and to take care of his wife and his children. From that experience, Nnamdi learned that Chike had not been his friend at all, but a wolf in sheep clothing. One whose advice had not only cost Nnamdi the most. From that experience, Nnamdi learned that Chike had not been his friend at all, but a wolf in sheep clothing. One whose advice had almost cost Nnamdi the most precious thing in his life, which was his happy home and his family. Nnamdi learned that listening to bad advice from the wrong people can lead you down a harmful path. It is important to evaluate the advice and influence of those around you. If it goes against your principles and conscience, have the wisdom and strength of character to reject it, even if it comes from a friend. Thank you for watching our video. We hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel, and click the subscribe button if